So good day everyone. So our topic is all about sharing the earth resources. So I am Miss Nala M. Singayan and my co-reporter Miss Christine May Sanchez. So, um, in a world of great wealth, no, meron mga some people that's struggling to meet their basic needs. So may mga tao na nakatira sa world, no, na nag-struggle to meet their basic needs, ilang pangangailangan. So nearly half the world populations, that is 3.4 billion people, live below the poverty line, described as living on less than 3.20 per day. Lower middle income countries and 5.50 a day upper middle income countries, according to World Bank 2018. So in a half population sa mundo, world is 3 billion people na nakatira below, pababa pa sa poverty line. So they describe as living on less than 3.20 per a day, no, lower middle income countries, and 3.50 a day in upper middle income countries, no. That is according to World Bank 2018. So more than 80 million people still live on less than 1.25 a day, United States dollar, 1.25 a day, no, lacking to meet to adequate food, clean water, and sanitation. So it more than 800 million people, no, na nag-struggle, no, lacking of access to adequate, no, to makaprovide lang food, drinking clean water, of course, and sanitation. So according to UNICEF 2018, no, in a year 2017 alone, an estimated 6.3 million children and young adolescents died, mostly from preventable causes. They died quietly in some of the poorest villages on earth, far from the tiny and concise of the world. So, poverty is also a major factor why numerous women died in pregnancy or childbirth. So, according to United Nations Population Fund, reported that some 830 women still die daily from causes related to pregnancy or childbirth. So this is roughly one woman every 2 minutes. So that is according to UNICEF, no, sa year 2017 lang. So estimated 6.3 million children and young adolescents died, no. Imagine 6.3 million children and young adolescents na namamatay. Is mostly cause is poverty, and they died quietly in some of the poorest villages on earth, no. So namamatay sila sa mga poor villages here sa world, no, sa mundo. So far from malayo sila sa place na maka-access or makakuha ng ilang basic needs. And also poverty is a major factor why numerous, no, isa rin sa reason bakit bumababa ang karamihan sa mga babae is namamatay tungod sa pagbubuntis or panganganak, childbirth, yes, or pregnancy, during their pregnancy or their childbirth, or bata pa nanganganak, kaya yun, namamatay sila. That is one of the reason or major factor of poverty. Poverty is also a major factor why women died, you know. According to United Nations Fund, no, reported that some 880 women still die daily from causes, no. May mga babae, no, na still namamatay pa rin daily because of causes of child birth and pregnancy tungod sa panganganak at pagbubuntis. So, imagine in a 2 minutes, one woman ang namamatay. Entire world na yan. According to United Nations Population Fund. So, here in Philippines, in the year 2015, lived below the national poverty line is 21.6%. So, according to Asian Development Bank or ADB, reported that the same year, the proportion of employment population well below 1.90 purchasing power parity a day was 8.3%. So here is the table of poverty indicators among countries in Southeast Asia as reported by the Asian Development Bank year 2018. So poverty below the national poverty line is Myanmar 32.1% in the year 2015. Lao People Democratic Republic 23.2% in the year 2012. Philippines in 21.6% in the year 2015. Cambodia is 14% 2014. Thailand is 10.6% in the year 2017, and Thailand is 8.6% in the year 2016. Vietnam is 7.0% in the year 2015, and Malaysia is 0.4% in the year 2016, and Brunei and Singapore are no data. So that is the population below the national poverty line, which is the Myanmar, Lao people, Philippines, Cambodia, Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, and Singapore. So the highly uneven distribution of wealth, and resources is situation of violence known as instructional violence. So the wealth resources is situation of violence, matatawag din siyang violence as instructional violence. So this violence refers to the system, institutions, and policies that meet some people human needs, rights, or wants that they expense of others. So this violence, naka-refers siya sa system or system, institution, policies, para ma-meet or to meet the people human needs, rights, or wants, and other expense of others. So the symptoms of this violence is first is hunger and poverty. So the hunger and poverty are symptoms of this violence. So the next topic is reported by Miss Sanchez. So that's all for my part. Thank you.
Once again, good day everyone. I am Kristen Miss Sanchez, and this time I will going to continue the discussion about sharing the earth resources. So, structural violence refers to the system, institutions, and policy that meet some people's human needs, rights, or wants at the expense of others. Hunger and poverty are the symptoms of this violence. So this system and institutions and policy are well entrenched. So ibig sabihin ng entrenched is nakabaon na sa global economic international order na kontrolado sa powerful nation states, international agencies, and transnational corporation. So bakit nga ba may paghihirap? Bakit may mga taong nahihirapan or may poverty? So, matatalakay natin ang mga causes, iba't ibang causes ng poverty dito ngayon. So, first is the war and armed conflict disrupt the people's livelihood and all productive activities. So, ito yung pinakauna. ang war. So, so of course, kung may war, may poverty talaga kasi nga ang mga tao dito, ah especially sa lugar na kung saan nangyayari yung war, may poverty talaga kasi takot silang lumabas. Walang trabaho niyan kasi nga may war. Siyempre, di ba? May mga tao pa bang magtatrabaho kung may gera na. So, diyan talaga pumapasok yung poverty kung may war. So, yan ang isa sa mga causes of poverty na pinakauna. Then second is the political system created by local political elite that have combined with profit-motivated economic system that reduce opportunities for most people to earn enough to meet their basic needs. So, isa rin ito sa political system. Ang political system. Kung ang kung yung sistema nila is yung maliit lang yung opportunities sa mga tao, yung mga kaya nga maraming mga taong walang trabaho ngayon kasi nga sa political system, yung maliit lang kanilang opportunity na magbigay ng trabaho sa mga tao kasi nga dito sa Philippines, especially sa Philippines is maraming mga requirements na needed, no? So, may mga tao talaga na hindi makakatrabaho and maliit lang yung hindi nila ma-provide yung business nila araw-araw. Then, next is an equitable distribution of wealth and resources, much of which has begun in colonial history. So, hindi patas na distribution of wealth. So, isa rin ito sa mga causes of poverty. Then, next is environment condition. So, kung ang condition ng environment mo is komplikado, so, kung kanang ano ba sa Pilipino yun? May kung sa lugar ninyo is always nangyayari yung mga kalamidad, no? May poverty talaga. Then, lack of opportunities such as employment. So, ito na sinasabi ko na lack of opportunities sa employment. So, may maraming talagang taong walang trabaho kasi nga lack of opportunities of employment. Then, lack of education. So, kadalasan sa mga mahihirap is hindi nakapagtapos ng pag-aaral. So, that's the one of the cause of the poverty. One of the causes of poverty, lack of education. Then, ito, corruption. Kung yung mga politician is, or the political leaders is corrupt, yung nagtigabaw yung corruption, so may paghihirap talaga sa isang lugar. Yung hindi sila responsible sa kanilang pagiging leader. Yung kinukurap nila yung pera ng mga tao na imbes sa mga tao, napupunta sa kanila. That's what we call corruption. So, isa rin yan sa mga cause of poverty. Then, overconsumption and then greed, selfishness. So, yan ang mga causes of poverty. Okay, next is this demystifying myths about poverty. So, may mythology din about the poverty. It is often noted that poverty is caused by scarce resources, overpopulation, or laziness. Oo, tama nga ito dahil because of the overpopulation and laziness of the people, may poverty. So, however, the Institution for Food and Development Policy of 1998 asserts that there is enough grain growth worldwide to provide every person of 3,500 calories each day and enough food to provide at least 4.3 pounds of food per person a day worldwide. Today, the world produces 17% more food per person than 30 years ago. cited by Oxfam 2010, and even if the United Nations Population Fund claims that better reproductive health reduces poverty, repeating that developing countries with slower population to growth have seen higher productivity. Population density does not necessarily correspond to the prevalence of hunger. China, for example, China has only half an agricultural land per person compared to India, yet China appears to have eliminated widespread hunger. From 1979 to 2003, China's annual gross national product grew from $43.8 billion to $1.414 trillion. On the matter of laziness, farmers, fisher folk, and laborers, among others work very hard and for long hours to survive, yet they are still on the list of world's poor. So may mga mahirap pa rin kahit na um, yung ibang mga farmers, first folk, laborers is nagsusumikap para sa trabaho, nahihirapan pa rin kasi nga yung income nila is igo lang sa kanilang pang-araw-araw na pangangailangan. So may poverty pa rin. And then dagdagan pa sa laziness ng mga tao, nagiging mas mahirap talaga yung kondisyon nila. Natin. The Institute for Peace and Justice, year 1984, assert that in every country where there is poverty, a common pattern can be found that is a powerful fuse exercise ever tightening control over food production and other economic resources at the majority expense. So ito yung demystifying myths about poverty. So let's proceed to the promise of economic globalization. So economic globalization refers to the economic integration of world countries through the increased flow of goods and services, capital and labor, according to Stiglitz 2007. Paul Street then calls this model globalization from above, cited by Oloka Ongango and Odagama 1999. Its most important aspect are the breaking down of national economic barriers. So, napaka-importante na aspeto is yung i-break down yung national economic barriers, yung mga barriers nito. So, economic barriers, the growth in trade, and the key role and influence transnational corporations and international financial institutions. So, economic globalization is supposed to bring an enormous benefits among these two. So, enormous means napakalaking benepisyo to promote the economic efficiency and the expansion of opportunities for growth and development, thereby reducing poverty and inequity and enhancing human development and security. So, in economic globalization, it has actually triggered capital flows to developing countries and has created wealth. However, economic indicators show that benefits have not trickled down to where the majority is. Global unemployment has reached the 192 million mark, while the number of people in extreme working poverty is expected to exceed 114 million in 2018. Ito, ILO 2018. Globally, more than 800 million people are still living on less than US dollar 1.25 a day, meaning lacking access to adequate food, clean drinking water, and sanitation. What has gone wrong? Critics point to the unfair rules of game set by the rich countries that own the transnational and fair rules of the game set by the rich countries that own the transnational corporations and dominate the international financial institutions, such as uh, rules were designed to work to their advantage. Economic globalization has also overemphasized the material more than ends that matter, such as human rights, human development, equity, inclusion, human security, and development. So ito yung ah, mahirap, no? Yung may mga taong mas may mga taong materialistic, no? Na mas inuna pa nila yung wants nila kaysa needs ng ibang tao. Yung human rights, development, equity, inclusion. So, dahil dito sa mga materialistic na bagay, nagiging equity ang isang bansa. May hindi patas. Dahil sa hindi patas na uh, hindi patas na pagdala or ng mga tao o hindi patas na pagbigay ng mga basic needs ng mga tao or tulong, kaya may paghihirap na nangyayari. So, the Human Development Report the year 1999 writes that this value should take precedence over the goal of profit accumulation for globalization to work. In peace education, the goal that is sought in the maximization of well-being and not maximization of profit. So, hindi dapat sa isang tao hindi iniisip yung profit, yung income na makukuha, kundi yung matutulong mo sa isang tao or maibibigay mo or masishare mo na mga basic needs ng isang tao, hindi yung makukuha mo na income or pera. So, dapat ganyan. Dapat ganyan yung lahat ng mindset ng tao, no? Yung may malasakit sa ibang tao. Dapat ganyan. Then, let's proceed to the challenging economic inequity. So, how can the resources of the world be more fairly distributed? So, paano ba natin i-distribute yung mga resources, yung mga basic needs ng lahat ng tao na pantay or patas, no? So, the following are suggestions called from various organizations working for development and from participants of workshop conducted by Center for Peace and Peace Education. So, first is the global. The global established a new economic order that is fair. No, dapat yung economic order is patas. Dapat i-establish ng patas. The next is wealthy countries should open up their markets to poor countries without conditionality. So, dapat yung mga wealthy countries, just like the Americans, dapat mag-open up sila ng mga markets to the poor countries without any conditionality, no? The next, developed countries should provide unconditional debt relief. Then, assistance given to developing nations should be given in the form of grants without condition. Then, rich countries should open access to technologies. Then, reduce military expenditures so that more resources will be made available. Then, the national. So, under national, yung kanilang suggest is a genuine agrarian reform program should be implemented. Government should increase subsidy for education. kasi nga sa education is the key of the poverty. Then, government and private lending institutions should institute credit reforms. Government should provide training skills programs. Then, progressive taxation reforms should be instituted to increase the purchasing power of the poor. Then, rural infrastructure should be developed. The government should make itself more accessible and visible through decentralization. The next is transnational corporation should be obliged to make contribution. Then, a code of conduct should be set for transnational corporation to follow. And then, reduce military issues so that more resources will be made available. So, ito yung mga suggestion of various organization to have to challenge the economic inequity. So, para mawala yung poverty, yung para matulungan yung mga taong mahihirap. Kung lahat ng tao is nagtutulungan, may malasakit sa iba, may malasakit sa isa't isa, may pagmamahal, ay may unity, may magkakaroon tayo ng peace. No? Kung may peace, lahat ng lugar is mauunlad. So, dapat, ngayon, as future educators, dapat ituro rin natin sa ating mga estudyante kung paano mag-share ng blessing sa iba. Kung, for example, kung tayo ay magiging guro na in the future, dapat turuan natin ng magandang asal yung mga bata. Tuturuan natin kung paano mag-share ng mga blessing sa iba, sa kapwa nila estudyante. For example, kung may estudyante na mahirap o walang baon, so bibigyan nila. Yan, hindi lang sila, kundi tayo rin mga guro. So, we should be a good model to our students so that they will learn that from us. No? So, kasi nga, ang peace is nag-start sa ating sarili. So, dapat with your own so dapat alam na natin. So, ganyan. So, that's all. And thank you for listening.